On today's child seat review segment, we're out here taking a look at the all-new 2017 Hyundai Elantra. This is a Graco Classic Ride 50 child seat. It's a convertible child seat and it's suitable for forward or rearward facing installation and children between 4 and 50 pounds. This is a very average sized child seat. It slots right in the middle of the pack in terms of overall dimensions. One of the big things to know about the Elantra is that this is relatively middle of the pack in terms of overall size. So if you need more room inside, something like a Honda Civic will give you a little bit more room, but this is going to be a little bit larger inside than something like a Ford Focus. One of the first things to do before we insert a rearward-facing child seat in the back is to move the front seat as far forward and a little bit more upright to help give that child seat a little bit more room. Remember that you do want an adequate distance between your legs and the dashboard because in the event of a collision, your body will move further forward in the vehicle. The Elantra isn't one of the larger entries in the segment, but it still does very well in this rear-facing child seat test. Now, this seat is installed at the proper angle according to the ball guide on the seat, but it's not latched into place. If it were, it would actually be moved a little bit further rearward. However, there's still not quite enough clearance between the front seat and the child seat for me to sit comfortably in front of this child seat. You do want about an inch or two of clearance because in the event of a rear end collision, the front seat can move a decent amount rearward if it's occupied. So you do want to maintain that safety space right there. However, if you're slightly shorter than me or had slightly shorter legs, you could definitely sit in front of a rearward facing child seat. Perhaps slightly more important than that, however, because of the way the front seats are shaped, you can very easily fit two 6-foot-tall people up front and put one rearward-facing child seat right here in the middle of the Elantra. When it comes to our 3-across child seat test, the Elantra surprised me a little bit. Things are definitely tight across the back because this is still a compact sedan. However, this actually fits a little bit better than I expected. Now, the child seats are almost touching the door. There's maybe only about 1/4 inch of clearance between the child seat itself and the door right around the armrest portion, more right up here in this area. Now, that's important because you don't want the curtain airbags to deploy into the child seat in the event of a side impact. You want them to deploy between the child seat and the door. When it comes to anchors, we have outboard latch anchors and top tether anchors for all 3 seating positions, and because the center headrest is an adjustable variety, it actually makes it quite easy to use those top tethers. The tethers themselves are also a little bit further away from the child seat. They're right back here behind the headrest. That's my preference because if you have child seats like these Graco Classic Ride 50, where they have a very large buckle like that, it actually makes it possible to insert the top tether anchor and then tighten it into position right like that quite easily. If they're a little too close to the child seat, you can't tighten the top tether anchor properly. When a child seat is properly installed and you tug on it relatively hard, you should not be able to move the child seat more than about 1/2 inch. You may need to actually get in the vehicle, put your knee in the child seat, push it down into the seat to really latch it into position. At just under 14.5 cubic feet, the Elantra has one of the larger trunks in this category, and that makes it a lot easier to deal with child seats in the vehicle. I have a 24-inch roller bag and a 26-inch roller bag in there, and thanks to this trunk's size as well as this large opening, you can actually just about fit one child seat right here in the back with those 2 roller bags. In fact, you can actually fit about 3 child seats and 2 roller bags in the back very comfortably as long as you're willing to arrange them just so in the back. That's largely possible because 24-inch roller bags like this can actually remain in their upright position if you position them just right in the trunk, and then you can close the lid right like that. You can fit about 2 of them across the back right here in this upright position. You can't get too close to each edge because then the lid won't close, but you can again fit 2 of them there. You fit quite a lot of cargo behind them. Even though the Elantra is not one of the larger compact sedans in this category, it does very well for itself when it comes to child seat accommodations, both in the trunk and in the rear passenger compartment. That's because of the overall width of this vehicle and a very practically designed cargo area. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. Be sure and check out the complete review on the Hyundai Elantra coming up in about a day or so, and I'll see you next week.